The exercise equipment had just malfunctioned, and then he went crashing to the floor, and on his way down, his head hit a wooden box, and he brought his hands up to his head, and they were red and wet, and lots of people started gathering around him, but not me. No. I was fully focused and fully intending on getting my workout in for the day. I was on the other side of the room, so he had to walk over to me holding a sweaty towel to his head, and then it was clear to him that he needed a trip to the ER, though for me, I thought that it could wait till I pumped out a few more push-ups or pull-ups, and I really didn't want to be interrupted from getting done what I set out to do. My goodness, just thinking back on this story over a decade ago, it kind of gives me this hilarious shame. I wasn't willing to stop to take care of the person that I love the most in the world. Jeez.
Hi there, this is Becky Hammond, and you are tuning into the Isogo TV podcast from IsogoStrong.com. You and I gather right here on this podcast to make relationships easier on your teams or in your families. This is episode 94 in our Make Relationships Easier series, all about using strengths to do so. And today we're chatting about one of the 34 Clifton strengths, the achiever strength. It's so easy to see the negative in our lives and focus in on that. But really, you can impact relationships by emphasizing the positive, the strengths that you already have. Yet sometimes, as you probably already know, the line in between what you use as a strength and what can negatively affect your relationships is a very thin one. So let's continue to take a look at what making relationships easier looks like through the lens of achiever.
Oh, achievers. What a blessing and a curse we live, right? I suppose the same could be said of every strength, but because this particular strength, achiever, is shared by close to a third of the entire population across the world, the achiever talent tends they feed each other in both good ways and then the not so good ways. Achiever gives you the stamina that you need to push through the result that you're pursuing. And you get this almost sixth satisfaction from checking things off your list. And I'm totally guilty of adding things to your list just so you can check them off, right? Instead of zapping your energy, getting more things done actually increases your energy. In fact, sometimes when I should just lay down, my body's you should stop now, I start doing something else, and then I realize that all of a sudden my fatigue is gone. Awesome. I don't know if it is. When used well, your achiever strength really gives you that determined self-motivation that you can use in a healthy pursuit of success. But because our world encourages this borderline kind of erratic push yourself forever behavior, achiever is also the burnout talent. That it can destroy our relationships and our health when it's used above and beyond. So it's up to us as to how we decide to use this, what could be amazing achiever strength. And as is true of every strength, the volume that we choose for achiever in any situation will help you get to that point of making relationships easier or harder. When achiever is in overdrive, it can be a wrecking ball to relationships, where it's apparent that tasks are more important than people, and you let those tasks take priority every time. Now, granted, especially achievers out there, sometimes tasks do need to take priority, but if that's true every time, then something's not dialed in right. And relationships around you at work, with your team or your peers, or at home, or your partner, your kids, your parents, those things will start to suffer. And then in the end, the damage to those relationships drives you away from success, not toward it. So here are a couple ideas of ways to craft your environment to feed your achiever while building strong, easier relationships. So first, check your checklist. You need a checklist of some sort. You probably already know that. But consider putting people activities on the list. Even if you've already invested those time with those people, put them back on the list and check it off. When I was managing people, sometimes it was much more satisfying to add a check to a face-to-face meeting than it was to have the meeting in general. Sorry, people. The second is reframe your mindset of your achiever, of doing, of using your strengths to make relationships easier is more about mindset than the discipline, the commitment to follow that mindset through with action. It's a mindset to know and appreciate and dial in our own strengths and then accept and appreciate the strengths of the people around us. So for this achiever strength that always needs to be doing something, add relationships to that. Give yourself credit for doing things that don't necessarily advance your individual agenda, but they do advance the cause of the people that are around you. You know, even if that's taking out the trash for your family.
There we have it, at least scratching the surface about using your drive and stamina achiever strength to make relationships easier around you, on your team, or in your family, or both, hopefully. If you operate from the achiever strength, or you know someone who does, I'd love to know how the description we talked about and the actions that we came up with today, how they sit with you. How do they resonate with you, or how do they not resonate with you? And maybe even better, what else would you do, or do you do, to dial in your achiever strength to make relationships easier around you? And this is not a rhetorical question either. You have so much to teach me along the way. So there are a couple ways that you could do this to answer that question. You can comment over on the blog post that goes up with this episode. That's over at isogostrong.com/episode 94. Or you can head over to Instagram, and there you can tag me or DM me directly at IsogoStrong with your example of achiever used well or maybe gone astray a little bit. For both the website and Instagram, Isogo Strong is spelled ISOGO Strong. You know, you and your strengths have the power to make a ripple effect in your family, on your team, and then ultimately, I really believe this, across the entire world, to make relationships easier and propel you to a more flourishing family or team. So, dial them in, take ownership for your mindset, and make relationships easier. See you next time on Isogo TV.